Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is 42 degrees on November 18th, 2023. There's a stillness in the air. The sun is burning through thin clouds to the east. And Gettysburg is getting moving. I'm up and out early today, so I'm going to take advantage of that. Of course, I have to stop and get my breakfast sandwich and coffee at Gettysburg Baking Company, which opens at 8. So we got 20 minutes. We're going to do a short drive, and then I'm going to get my breakfast, go and upload the audio-only version of last night's show on, what is it, Patreon. I like the audio-only versions better because the sound quality is better, because it's not over the internet. Live streams, you can get good sound quality, but I don't have the, I gotta get like thousands of dollars worth of really good equipment to do that, and we're just not there. So we do with what we can, but so that's why I like the audio-only version, because I can make the sound quality better. Although I'm still learning how my new recorder worked, and how they all record differently. The quality. Oh, you don't care about this. Anyway, I'm tweaking it. So how are you? How are you today? Good morning, Michael. Good morning, BKW. Good morning, James. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Babber. Good morning, Francis. Early bird gets the worm, indeed, Eric. And I have 2 shows to record. Both will be live streamed on Patreon for the First Lieutenants. Let's see. First one we're doing, Dr. James is coming in, and we're talking about how you colorize whatchamacallit, old photographs. So that will be interesting, because it'll be a visual demonstration. Like I've been doing these editing videos, so it'll be like that, where you'll see him doing whatever and then talking about it. So for those of you who are into photo editing and stuff, and maybe you always wondered how that was done but never looked into it, or you looked into it and said, that's too much work, maybe this will make it a little more approachable for you. And for those of you who always wondered how they do that, what are they doing? Is there color information there that they're bringing out, or are they adding the color? Are they painting these things? How do they do it? How do they do it is what you're asking. And there's an answer to that, and James is going to answer it for us. And then Corey Farr is coming on to talk about his new Longstreet book, which I have right there. That is Writing the Longstreet Record at Gettysburg. And so I came out of the shower, came downstairs, and the dog literally ate my homework. I had a folder on my end table by the couch with reports and articles and studies that I printed out for the JFK show. And I've been going through with a highlighter and everything like that. And I come downstairs, and the one I was talking about yesterday with the physics and everything in it, the most complicated one that took me like all night to go through and highlight and stuff, she ripped like half the pages up, and it's like a 60-page stuff. I don't know how many pages it is. It's a lot of pages. So now I got to go through and figure out which ones I need to reprint them, go through them, and re-highlight them, because she ate it all. And I should have thought of it, because when I was sitting there, she was sitting right by me, very, very interested in the highlighter. At first I thought she might have thought it was lemon flavored, but I don't know what it is. And apparently the ink on the page was also attractive to her, because she left the other packets that I had be. But she ripped to hell the one with the highlights. So, anybody want a puppy? swear to God, we're putting her in training for 3 weeks in December, and if that doesn't work, I'm putting her up for adoption. I can't take it. I'm too impatient. I don't have the. I got too much going on. I can't be distracted by. Why did I get a dog? Why did I get a dog? All right, let's see here. Let's go our. You know what? I'm gonna take a different route. Aren't you getting sick of the same old route every day? I am. So let's take a different route. All right, here. This is for people who are not as what's the word I'm looking for? Versed in where everything is in relation to everything else. All right, so we're at the college now. This is also known as Gettysburg College, and we're turning now on the Mummersburg Road. Okay, so I'm on Lincoln Avenue, and we're turning on the Mummersburg Road. Here we go. Now, this road did not originally go like this. Here at this bend where this car just came out of, this bend continued straight, and it went right into town and met up with, like if you go, I might lose you. This would have just Street. Same with the old point. I don't know when they changed it because they built neighborhoods, and you know. But if you go to Water Street, where I used to live, I don't mind telling you now because I'm not there anymore. If you go to Water Street, you'll find there's a little side street there called Mummersburg Street, and that is the original Mummersburg Road. And if you just continue that road on a straight line, it hits Carlisle Street, or you'll see where it hit Carlisle Street. I think it hit there at about the building where that's known as the Carlisle. It's an apartment building, nice apartments, and I think that's about it where it hit. So imagine with the vehicular traffic that the automobile traffic that we have today, how much of a pain in the ass it would be to come into town on the old Harrisburg Road or Mummersburg Street at like a weird angle. Yeah, you know, not fun. Not fun. Now, I didn't mean to go all the way up here, but all right, I did. We're on the Mummersburg Road now. We're turning onto Confederate Avenue. One of many. There's more than one. There's not a contiguous Confederate Avenue. There's Confederate Cavalry. Actually, I don't know if they call it that, but out on East Cavalry Field, there's a Confederate Avenue. There's West Confederate Avenue, which is the main Confederate line. Look at that image. That is beauteous. Let me stop and take a screenshot of that so I could paint it one day. Right about there. All right. And there's this one. There's South Confederate Avenue, which is just an extension of West Confederate, but it kind of veers south, I guess, and it's on the south end of the field. So there's many a Confederate Avenue. But what I wanted to do for the new to Gettysburg, or the unfamiliar, is show you, we're going to go down to the south end of the field without going on West Confederate Avenue. We're going to do it through the town, essentially, but not exactly, along the route of the retreat of the Union Army. Of course, they went through any alleyway they could, or anything. Anyway, they could get the hell out of Dodge. They did. But you'll get the idea. So, again, we're on the Mummersburg Road, and we're going to turn on Howard Avenue, which is a park road. When you're in the park, if it's an avenue, Park Service put it in. If it's a road, it was there. Well, it was either there prior to the Park Service, or it is not a Park Service installed road. So here we're going on Howard. I might lose signal on Howard here. Oh, it's freshly. Feels so wonderful. Now you notice these ropes along the road here with no parking signs. I think that is geared more towards the soccer people, because to my right, unfortunately, is not National Park. I don't know who owns it. It's either the borough, the county, or the college, or I don't know. But there are often soccer games or lacrosse games or, some kind of games going on there. And, the parents park all along this road, which, of course, tears up the shoulder and the grass and whatnot. And, so I assume that is why, because it seemed to come up right before that season started. And I don't know if the season's still on or not, but they haven't taken him down. Or it could be a totally different reason. But all I know is the annoying soccer moms could not park there with their wine spritzers in their minivans. So that was a little joy that I had, seeing them have to park elsewhere and walk. Welcome to Gettysburg. The Ronnie update. Yeah, so I saw your comment, or somebody commented, I don't know if it was you or not, Andy, asking what the Ronnie update was, and I said, I made a mental note, which is the worst kind of note for me to make, when whoever is talking finishes talking, which probably was Cam, then update them on Ronnie. Because we just had dinner with her and Kathy the other night, and she's, settling into the new job. They are away on their, wait, are they away, or is that next week? Oh, who knows? I think it's next, I don't remember. But they're going on a civil rights history tour of the Deep South. And, by the way, we're on Carlisle Street in the borough of Gettysburg, heading south. So going on a civil rights tour of the Deep South. I don't remember if it's this weekend they're leaving or next, but all I know is they can't come to the premiere of the movie, so it has to be next weekend. That's how I was able to get those extra tickets, one going to Cindy, one going to Colby, my two girlfriends. But so she's doing good. She likes the job. She's only a week or two into it, so she hasn't, fully, what's the word, settled in, but she likes it. Good morning, Kevin. How are you? Good morning, Karen. Francis, there is an author that self-published on Casualties Gettysburg that you had on the show. Can you help on what to get them? I think a set of 6. What? I think, are you asking what it, so there's the Busey and Busey 7-volume set, Casualties at Gettysburg. And then there's the Busey and Martin book, Casualties at Gettysburg. I've had David Martin on the show, but the 7-volume set is not David's. That is Busey and Busey. I believe the father and son team that did that. That I don't think that's self-published. I think the Busey and Martin one is, but it's not self-published in the sense that we were talking last night. Like going to Lulu.com or something. Like, it's a small publishing company, and I think David, forgive me, I can't remember if he owns it or is just an editor in it, or is a higher up in the publishing company, Longstreet Publishing. I want to say he owns it or owned it, or I don't know, but it's hard for me to keep track. The other day, when Cam barged in on me working, no, I say that, I invited him in, but when I was working on the JFK stuff and he was distracting me the whole time, he goes, you know where I live, right? I said, yeah. And he goes, you know where JFK met the guide who took him around? And I said, I'm thinking where Cameron lives. And I go, the only place I could think of is the bowling alley. And I go, is it the bowling alley? He goes, yep. He met him there. He goes, I'm surprised you don't know that. You had his grandson on. And I go, Cameron, that was 2.5 years ago. If you listened to the show, which it doesn't, you would know that I did like 200 episodes since then. How the hell am I supposed to remember anything? By the way, we're on Baltimore Street. When we went through the circle, we picked up Baltimore Street. And now we're turning right on Steinware Avenue, which is the historic Emmitsburg Road. All of these tourist traps were not here at the time of the battle. So you must imagine open fields with a house here, a house there. The Dobbin House, of course, was here. But for the most part, it was scattered dwellings, and scattered pictures. Now, we could either go left onto the Taneytown Road or straight down the Emmitsburg Road. And we can get to or into the park at those different points or via those different avenues. But we're going to go down the Emmitsburg Road here and drive right through the middle, smack dab in the middle of Pickett's Charge. And I'll angle the camera a little to the left so that you can see a little bit of the Union line. So anyway, yeah, it's hard for me to remember the details because you only have so much bandwidth in your head, and you learn enough to do a show, and then the show is over, and you immediately empty your recycling bin and prepare for the next one. And so the finer details, and it always amazes me how the things that different people pick up on when they listen. When for example, that person that was commenting and really going after me for not taking Cam, quote, serious, or taking him more serious, which is just grammatically horrific. And that's how I knew the person was probably somebody from West Virginia, with all due respect. But anyway, and please, there's plenty of people in the North that say more serious instead of more seriously. The point I'm trying to make is, we know who that is. That's one of Cam's girlfriend's friends, thinking she was doing the Lord's work. But she's a listener of the show. And when I saw, she started off with, "Hi, Maddie Joe." And I think I made reference once on a show, I don't know how long ago, to how I as kind of a joke, the women in my family used to call me Maddie Joe. And once, 2 or 3 years ago, and this person remembered it. And, of course, didn't ever comment while enjoying the show, something nice. Now, waited until they thought it was about time that, Cameron was defended, and decided to then use it against me. And but my point is, at first I saw it, I'm like, it threw me for a loop. Like, it's got to be somebody I know, because very few people know that, and I couldn't remember saying it on the show, but I know I did later on. Anyway, it's amazing to me the things that people hone in on and remember. This is the Sherfy Farm on the right, and we're going to turn left on Wheatfield Road, which existed at the time of the battle, so it's not a park road. And this is where the peach orchard is. Turning left on the peach orchard. Now, we can't go down to South Confederate Avenue. I mean, you can, but you can't go very far on it because it's closed because of work on Little Round Top. So that'll open hopefully in the summer. Rich, yes, I believe Stephen Lunsford's books about the Army of the Potomac are self-published, and they are awesome. And Stephen's, so I'm going to put out book interviews on Patreon for the next couple of weeks, because it's Christmas time and people buy presents, of course, and books are such a great gift for a Getty's nerd or a nerd in general. And so we're going to do book interviews. And I think in the spirit of the holidays, I might make one or two of them from earlier this year free on the free feed. That way I can save myself some Ask Guides. Because there's a lot of good books that came out this year. And so you should get some of them. But yeah, Stephen Lunsford. I don't think. Well, Rich, you know about First Lieutenant, so you saw all of you unreformed Rebs out there. He's going to do the Army of Northern Virginia after he's done with the Army. Very, very beautiful sky this morning. You know, I'm very new to the sunset or sunrise, excuse me, and I have to say it's almost as pretty as the sun setting, but not quite. And Russell says, glad to be back. Oh, my mom passed. Tough 3 weeks. Sorry to hear that, Russell. That sucks. I hope you're doing well. That's a hard one. Kevin says, I'm planning on visiting the summer. Looking forward to that. Suggestions? Kevin, have you been here before, or is this your first time? Rich. Oh, so Rich, you got the books. That's right. So you know they're good. Yeah, I have them in the studio library. I think they're definitely worth having. Every Getty's nerd needs to have them. He's not completed the Army of the Potomac series yet. The majority of them finished, but there's a few core that still need to be done. But yeah, I mean, and I'm impressed, and they're beautiful too. The covers are nice. You know, a lot of times you get self-published books, there's just something doesn't look right about them. You know, the cover, you know, they'll use a cell phone picture they took, and it's all grainy and ugly, and you know, the formatting of the pages is weird, and they choose some goofy font because they think it looks cute, but really it makes it really hard to read and everything. Stephen's books are beautifully laid out. The covers are well done. His sister's a graphic artist. She helped him with the covers. I'm gonna put that episode. You know what? I'll put it out Monday. I don't think I have anything scheduled for Monday. I got so much fucking work to do. Oh God, Remembrance Day weekend, please be over. I have so much to do. I have so much work to do, and also there's a bunch of other. It sounds like I'm complaining. I'm not. I love this stuff, but man, I got home last night and I laid down on the couch just for a second, and I woke up this morning at 6 o'clock, and I was like, what the hell happened? I just did not, and I didn't move. I was just beat. B-E-E-E-T-E, beat. First time, Kevin. Okay. By the way, we're on Hancock Avenue. Sorry, I didn't update you as I was making my turn. But we're on Hancock Avenue, and the angle and copse of trees is coming up. A lot of times you'll see people call it the copse of trees. Well, you won't see them call it that. You'll hear them call it that. If you saw them call it that, you have special powers. But the copse of trees, that's just because there's an E at the end. In this case, for some reason, it makes the O copse instead of copse. But there it is, the copse of trees. Not the original trees. I think there was one big one there, and the people at the time thought, let's stabilize it so it can't ever, break in the wind and fall over. And they put an iron bar on it, and that just turned it into a lightning rod. And so that tree went, or at least that's the story I heard. Okay, first time, Kevin, first time. You're going to want to go, first of all, before you come between now and summer. You've got to watch the movie. I would watch it a couple times if you haven't already. If you have, refresh yourself, watch the movie. The movie does a very good job at getting the fundamental plot points of the Battle of Gettysburg out there, okay? Is it perfect? No. Does it need, is it lacking in some places? Yes, but is that going to harm your understanding of the battle? No. Now, what it is going to do, though, is going to color. Well, you know this, I'm sure. I'm sure you're more into this than just having watched the movie. But for anybody that has only watched the movie, get a book that's not The Killer Angels. Get an actual history book, and fill in the blanks that the book, The Killer Angels, and the movie leave out. And it's nothing against either one of those works, but the reality of being able to get every detail in is, unrealistic. So anyway, and by the way, even in a history book, that's unrealistic. Where was I? Okay, watch the movie. Then, and I'm not saying this just because I produce it, but we've got hundreds of episodes on addressing Gettysburg. On the free feed, we've got a couple hundred, and we've got a few hundred more on Patreon. And our Patreon episodes are longer form. They're more of a discussion. There's no commercials, because you're paying for them. So, think of it like HBO, whereas the stuff that you can hear for free is NBC. You're going to be inundated with commercials when it's free, but not when it's not. So anyway, but we really like to, if you're new to all of this, because I don't recognize your name. So if you're new to all of this, meaning addressing Gettysburg, my whole thing is trying to get as close an understanding as I can to A, what happened here, B, what life was like back at that time, and C, what Civil War combat was like without, of course, actually having to experience any of that, because I can't. The time has passed. The people are different. The place is different. The battle is over. Civil War combat is a thing of the past. And I hope to God I never see any kind of combat. But I'm trying to get as close an understanding of that. So my curiosities guide what we talk about for the most part. I mean, there's other ways that people come on the show, but for the most part, I get interested in something, and then I start seeking people out who can speak on it until I get, until I've exhausted my interest, and then I move on to something else. So Patreon, the idea there is that you're coming along with me on my journey through learning all this stuff. And so it's all over the place sometimes, but that's the way to learn, is to expose yourself to different things and see where it goes. And so you'll get a fuller picture of not only the Battle of Gettysburg and the town of Gettysburg at the time, but also the Civil War. We kind of step out of Gettysburg once in a while and talk about the war as a whole, or other things. Like, for example, one of my favorite episodes is an environmental history of the Civil War, because it talks about how the environment influenced army movements, how the armies influenced the environment, or influence might not be the word, but changed the environment by, engineering and moving earth and, dikes and levees and all these other things. It's just, there's a lot of interesting disease. So anyway, my point is, if you're not a patron, you can get every episode that we do if you're a second lieutenant. If you want video and a couple of extra perks, you could be a first lieutenant. But if you want every episode that we've done, second lieutenant is where you can get that. No video. Okay. Now, I didn't mean to do like a shameless plug there, but I've found that when, and I don't know if you know where I'm coming from with this, so let me just give you that quick. I used to own a bicycle tour company, and when we had our reservations, in the confirmation email there was a link to the show, and it said, if you want to come to your tour armed with prior knowledge than listen to Addressing Gettysburg. And so we've had people who actually read their confirmation email and saw it and started listening, and they would tell me that's great advice, because I had a much fuller understanding of the story and where we were and all that other stuff. So listen to the show before you come. You got plenty of time to catch up. Okay, now when you get here, I would first go to the visitor center. That's going to orient you. And always have like Google Earth or maps at your disposal as you're going around. It's going to help you orient yourself, especially when you're in town. Although town to me is very easy. It's laid out like a compass. So once you can get a picture of town in your head and, just orient yourself on the square, then, you should be all right. But anyway, go to the visitor center. And pay for the ticket to the movie and to the cyclorama and go through the gallery. Then, and take your time, then get a guide. You can either walk up to the window and, be like, or up to the counter and be like, I want a guide. And they'll be like, all right, we got one available now. Or, all right, you got to wait 20 minutes, whatever the case may be. Do that regardless. Or you can actually call ahead and reserve a guide. So either way, but you have to have a guide. And I would start with the visitor center and a guide right away. Now, you can either take a guide in your car or, and I don't get any kickback for this or anything, but it's just because I founded it, and I honestly believe that it's the best way to see the battlefield. If you're able, you go to Getty's Bike Tours and book a reservation with them and take a bicycle tour of the battlefield. You'll have a licensed guide with you. They're great, fantastic guides, and they will take you around, and that's the best way to do it. Whether you do it in your car or you do it on a bike tour, the point is you need to have a licensed battlefield guide, and you need to have them where you have quick and easy access to them. And those are the two best ways to do it. What do I mean by quick and easy access? I mean, you're going to have questions as you move along. If you're on a bus, you're one of 50, 30, I don't know what the capacity, 30 people, 35 people on a bus, and the guide is all the way up front. He's talking in the microphone. His job is to get as much information out as he possibly can as the miles roll by. You can ask him a question on the breaks, but it's not the same. Take my advice, licensed battlefield guide in your car or on a Getty's Bike Tour. That's the only two ways that you can have like good access to them. All right. Then after that, you got to go to two other places. Well, there's so many other places you need to go to. And honestly, it depends, Kevin, how many days are you going to be here? If you're just doing a regular Friday through Sunday and you only have Saturday, then do what I said. And then after your tour, get lunch somewhere, and maybe go back out on the battlefield and explore something that caught your interest, or explore the town. And if you can, hire a town guide to give you a tour. There's a licensed town guide program, or our buddy Ken Rich has his company called Reluctant Witnesses. Either way, get a town guide and do a town tour in the afternoon. If you're going to be here 2 days, then I would do that plan for day one. And then day two, museum day. So you want to hit the Gettysburg Museum of History, the Adams County Historical Society, Beyond the Battle Museum, and the Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center. And if you're coming with your wife or some ladies, however they're related to you, they might enjoy the Shriver House. You could squeeze all those in one day, but you got to start early, and you're going to go all day. But that's what you do. And I think you'll have a really full picture and a very enriching experience here in Gettysburg if you take my advice there. Please don't ask me to repeat that because that's so much information. David says, good morning, Matt. Good morning, David. Rich says, Kevin, definitely listen to Matt's anniversary shows for June 30th, July 1st, July 2nd, it's 3rd. Guests like Tracy Bear, Charlie Fennell, Jim Hassler, Jim Pangmer, they are great. Yes, they are great. Rich says, Kevin, definitely go to Seminary Ridge Museum, National Park Visitor Center, Adams County. Yep, there you go. Francis says, thank you. I am going to order these books soon. Yes, definitely get a hold of them. Eric, if you have the money, get an LBG and do a 3-hour tour. If not, the Gettysburg Story Auto Tour is a good starter. Yeah, if you have to, do that. I know everybody loves the convenience. Oh man, I gotta go. People are starting to pile into Gettysburg Baking, and I'm gonna have to wait in line. Come on! Anyway, I always advise against CDs or audio tours or apps. My experience, having talked to people who are not battle aficionados, who have used those things, they end up kind of just going, it's all right. I had more questions because, that I couldn't ask anybody because you're listening to a recording. So it depends on your level of interest and how much you want to know. If you really want, and especially if this is a once-in-a-lifetime trip, do not insult yourself with an app or an audio tour. Get a licensed battlefield guide. If it's an issue of money, Eric will loan it to you. And or you've got enough time to save your pennies. I think it's like $75 if you have under 6 people. So it's not terrible. And there's that there. But definitely live human being all the way. Please, please, please go with them. You'll just do yourself the favor. I get nothing for saying this. I just truly believe that licensed battlefield guides are the way to go. And I will believe that until the cows come home. So very much info. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can go back and re-listen to it and take notes. I know it's a lot. Ghost of Sickles' Leg. I've been rewatching Hamilton and was wondering what your thoughts on a Dan Sickles musical would be. Well, I would love to. Actually, who was I talking to? We were talking about this. Doing a Dan Sickles musical. Andy, was that you? No, this was in person. Have I met you, Andy? I don't know. Yeah, I was talking about doing a Dan Sickles musical one time with someone, and the idea of it cracked me up. I wanted to call it Hoppy, like Tommy. I mean, it would be a rock opera. Hoppy, can you hear me? Don't you dare move forward. Something like that. But why would he have the nickname Hoppy before he loses his leg? How can I watch Gettysburg Christmas movie short of going to Gettysburg? Unfortunately, Ghost, at this point, that's the only way you're going to see it. I don't know. They're shopping it around to networks. I don't know what the plan is for mass distribution yet. And honestly, from what I'm understanding, it's not Bo. Bo's doing everything he can to get it out there. It's the producers that own it. I don't know this for a fact, but from everything I'm hearing, it sounds to me like they really just want the write-off. Like they don't really care if this movie sells or makes money or not. I hope that's not true, but I just have this. I don't understand why they seem resistant to certain things, but I don't know. I'm not up at that level, so I couldn't tell you. Anyway, my point is there is no information available yet for mass distribution. So the only way to see it is to either have one of the tickets at the premiere or to have one of the tickets for the 10 viewings afterwards at the seminary. I hope they add some more. I would hope that they would have them running all through the Christmas season, but so far that's not the plan. No, Hallmark will not pick it up, Andy. He originally went to Hallmark. He had a connection there, and they didn't want it to be Gettysburg. They didn't want to show any soldiers. They didn't want to shoot it here. They wanted to shoot it in Canada. And they just like, well, does it have to be Gettysburg? Can't just be any small town? No. And so Bo decided, because Bo really wanted to make this for Gettysburg, like as a favor to Gettysburg. This is a town that's been very good to him. He loves it here. People are really nice to him. And of course they are, because people are nice here. That's why all of us move here. It's just a great place to be. And by the way, if you're a grump and you want to move here, either lose the grumpiness or don't. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody needs your trouble. Where was I? Yeah, so he wanted to make it for Gettysburg. And, to help visitation. And I think it will. But Hallmark isn't in that business. They don't care about that. They just want their sappy Christmas movies, which, by the way, are so terrible. I have to tell you, I never really watched more than maybe 2 minutes of a Hallmark Christmas movie, and because I vomit on my lap, and so I can't sit through them. But Cindy and I have been kind of going. Netflix apparently has gotten into the game, and we've been going on and watching just the trailers, and oh man, it's hard to get through some of these trailers. And I tried to watch one the other day. I was like, you know what, let me see how long I can get into it. I couldn't get through the opening credit sequence, and it was just terrible. I got to tell you, A Gettysburg Christmas is not that. I don't get that feeling. Now, maybe there's a bias. Maybe, it's because my friend did it, and because I was around, even though I'm not credited but I was a part of it, and so I have memories attached to it. So maybe I do have that bias, but I think I'm pretty good at putting my biases aside. And, I mean, believe me, if I wasn't, I wouldn't be associated with 90% of the people that I have associated with. So I'm pretty good at that. And I honestly think that it is a good movie, given what it is. It still does have some of that Christmas cheese. It's a Christmas movie. It's supposed to. It's designed to. But I still think it's good. There's some humor that's pretty good. I just think you're going to like it. I think you're going to like it. Ghost, Dogface, how dare you? Hallmark makes great Christmas movies. And same for you, Matt. Yeah, no, they're horrible. But but that's the thing. They are purposefully horrible. They know that they're bad. And they continue to make them. Nobody thinks that a Hallmark Christmas movie is, something that should be held up as, great cinematography. No one ever in the history of the world has made that argument, and no one ever will. And the day someone does, that's the day the asteroid can hit the Earth. Another defenseless position for 3rd Corps Commander Dan Sickles. Ghost, teaching Civil War. Good morning, teaching. How are you? Okay, Andy, we have not met yet. Okay. Morning, everyone. Packing the car for display and heading to Plymouth Math. Very nice. 50 Shades of Sickles. Andy, just kidding about that. I have no idea why it hasn't been picked up yet. My wife nearly dragged me down to Gettysburg looking for it. The movie? Looking for what? Oh, when they were shooting? What do you mean dragged you down to Gettysburg looking for it? Hallmark would have been the kiss of death for the movie. I agree. Well, they would have, what's the word I'm looking for? They tried to completely eviscerate it and change everything. So, yeah. They didn't want it to be the story between estranged father and daughter. They wanted it to be the same old crap. So, yeah, I'm glad it's not on Hallmark. And he says, yeah, Matt is the local. Exactly. There's room in this town for one grump. all joking aside, that's shtick when I do my grumpy act, but there are people who are not only grumpy, but they'll go out of their way to make your day miserable. Those are the people we don't want. Yeah, that's the truth. Dean, as far as I'm concerned, Hallmark makes birthday cards and their movies have never interested me in the slightest. Exactly, Dean. Ghost, I do really like those movies. All right, Ghost. Well, there's no accounting for taste. Dragoon says, I generally have zero interest in romantic Christmas movies, but my wife loves them. This movie combines our interests and mirrors our love story. Okay. The last part made me gag. But otherwise, that's what I think is the winning combination for this movie. Gettysburg people are going to love it. Their wives are going to love it because it's the cheesy Christmas love story and father-daughter rekindling story. And you put them both together. And then so the guy will go and see it to see what do they do with Gettysburg. The girl will go and see it for the normal vomitous stuff. But they'll both be surprised because the normal vomitous stuff is not terribly overdone. And there's normal humor in there as well. It's a cute movie. You're going to like it. I can't talk it up enough. I wish I got, $1 for every time I complimented this movie, but I don't. I get 10 cents. Yes, Matt, the movie. She is interested in the Christmas movie. Okay, well, good. That gets her wanting to come here. Now, make a good memory when you come down and see the movie, if you can get into one of the screenings or something, and then she'll want to come here all the time. Tried to watch the male lead was a Marine who came home and reconnects with his high school love, and he never says one naughty word and no jarhead haircut. Exactly. Eric says, I like the mood my wife is in after watching Hallmark movies. There you go. That's why men like the Hallmark movies. Kevin says, what are we looking at? The bench. It's a bench. What do you mean, what are we looking at? The bench? We're looking at a bench, and we're looking at a building and a tree. What is there a significance to the bench? Because there's a plaque on it? No, there's a lot of the benches around. You can put a plaque on it, like, in memory of such and such. I don't know who that's to. But we have one to one of our fellow Gettys nerds, Jess Shotko, his mother put up over by Blue and Gray. So if you ever by Blue and Gray and you see one of these benches sitting out there, go read the plaque and say hi to Jess. Kevin, that bench is kind of comfy, great for people watching. Yeah, they are kind of comfy benches. Ghost Grumpy Corps Commander loses leg, wife cheats on him, all his friends turn on him as the one true savior of Gettysburg. Yeah, that's the part there that not buying. All right, guys, I got a lot of work to do. I got to get my food. There's people in there. I have to push through them and tell them to get out of my way. You guys have yourselves a great day. I will talk to you. I don't know. See you at the parade tomorrow. If you're in town, we'll be camped out at the Farnsworth House in the beer garden. I'll be getting there very early to make sure that we have tables. I'll actually be there 7 a.m. So, yes, enjoy yourselves. Stop by, say hi. Cam will probably be there. You'll get to meet Cam. Everybody wants to meet Cam. All right, you guys have a good one.